Drake's lawsuit against Kendrick and UMG continues on. I'm not even sure if this news today is real, that Drake is requesting all documents and communications relating to Dave Free and his relationship with Kendrick Lamar and Kendrick's children, and also documents and communications relating to allegations of domestic violence, violence against women, and or other forms of violence committed by Kendrick Lamar. See, I'm not even sure if that's true, if this is a real thing or if this is just make-believe. So I'm not gonna report on it as if it's real. But I will say that this lawsuit will not change history. This is not gonna change what happened in the rap beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. No matter how you slice it, Drake lost. Maybe we have a round 2, round 3. Maybe Drake wins one of those in the future if that's what the future holds. But this round, Drake lost. I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video. There's no amount of lawsuits or suing that's going to change that. And listen, I'm not someone who wants to see Drake fail. Like, I want his next album, Iceman, to be good music. I want Drake to drop a great album. I'm not out here like wanting more bad music. You know what I mean? We have enough of that already. So like, I want Drake to drop a great album. I want Iceman to be great. I thought the What Did I Miss joint was great. I thought that was a good song. I hope he gets his #1 so he can surpass Michael Jackson for, what is it, most #1 hits by a solo male artist. I hope he gets that, right? I hope his album has a lot of songs that I like, that I take, that I hold on to for years and years, like Come Through, like Show Me a Good Time, etc., right? But I kind of knew this whole revisionist thing would happen. I knew this would happen. You know, people kind of going back to the beef and being like, yo, did Kendrick actually win that? Did he actually? Because Drake had the better bars. I knew this would happen just based on the content of Drake's disses, right? There's stuff in Drake's disses, and even back then, I said this in my old videos, there's stuff in those disses that had yet to be uncovered. And now we're kind of see people starting to uncover them. What's the Dirt is doing some research on Kojo, who was mentioned on Family Matters. There's stuff coming out. So I knew just based on, I had a feeling, I didn't say I knew 100% sure, but I had a feeling based on just the content and the context of Drake's diss records that people would try to come out years later and be like, yo, did Drake actually lose this though? Because look, he was telling the truth and Kendrick was just spitting out lame insults. This is literally the exact same way that Jay-Z versus Nas was treated. Nas won hand over fist. No one who was around at that time, who was watching that beef going in real time, thinks it was anything but a victory for Nas, right? But then we have years later and decades later, we're looking at these Jay-Z diss records, we're looking at the Takeover, Super Ugly, like, yo, was it Takeover? That was the best diss though. He was spitting facts though. One hot album every 10 years. Nas was wearing Carl Kanai and yo, cool. But at the end of the day, you can't revise history like, yo, Jay-Z actually won that. That's just not how it works. And even with the Jay-Z Super Ugly song, when that song came out, it's literally a direct parallel with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. When Jay-Z Super Ugly first came out, immediately people was like, nah, this ain't it. And that was the end of the beef. When Jay-Z dropped Super Ugly and people heard that, initially they were like, yeah, this is a wrap. Victory goes to Nas. But then years later, we look at it and we're like, yo, Super Ugly is actually fire. Left condoms in the baby seat. Like, he was really getting at him. This is how people are kind of starting to treat the Heart Part 6, the fake Heart Part 6 by Drake dropped. It was a white flag. That's what I felt. Other people and YouTubers and reactors, some of them liked the song, some of them, I don't know. But my initial reaction was, this is a white flag. Eventually everyone else came to that realization and we were like, yeah, this is over. It's a pretty good parallel to Super Ugly, right? So we can't look at Jay-Z and Nas and try to be like, yo, well, Jay-Z he actually won because Ether was all just petty insults and lies. I mean, this is how some people are starting to look at and not like us. It's just petty insults and like, no, it was what it was and it is what it is. But I do think there's value in this lawsuit though. If this stuff is true, right? Which I'm not going to report on it like it's true because number one, I'm not a journalist, so I'm not like breaking news. And also I just don't know if it's true. I've only seen this screenshot. I haven't seen like a real source, but let's say it's true just for hypothesis sake. I do think there is value in knowing if what Drake was saying on those records was real. I think there's, like, I would like to know. Because Drake was saying a lot of things on those records in terms of like domestic violence in very specific ways, and very specific names. Anthony set up the plays, called Joe charging you double for none. But way back then, Drake was talking about the bots and all this. So I think it'll be interesting just in retrospect to see if what Drake was talking about was actually fact. Because it will add a little more heat to the record. Like, yo, this is facts. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change what happened. You know what I mean? And to the whole bots thing, Kendrick, the whole bots allegations, oh, you use it bots for not like us. I'm going to give a take that probably, I don't know if anyone else is giving this take, right? So I'll give it first, which that's just what I do, right? I'll give it first. I don't deny, like, I would not be surprised to learn that Kendrick Lamar used some type of bots or streaming manipulation tactics. Why? Because I think pretty much every major artist uses these tactics in some way or another. So, and even when you look at Doechii, like that little situation over there, that even kind of looks like, you know, some, I don't know, just looks odd, right? With the whole, you know, Doechii's getting more plays, monthly plays than Eminem. But I guess I also have to consider what they're counting as monthly plays. Little snippets on TikTok here and there, on different social media, all this stuff combined, sure, but I mean, whatever. I don't doubt that Kendrick Lamar used some type of bots or streaming manipulation. I also don't doubt that Drake does it. With the OVO side, where they lose me at least, is when they say, yo, Kendrick used bots, therefore that's why he won. No. The hip hop community, whether it was bots, whether he pushed his streams from 5 million one month to 20 million the next month, we already decided. Y'all were there. This is not like ancient history. Everyone who's watching this video, 99% of y'all, was also there during the Kendrick and Drake beef. Kendrick won it. We decided in real time, like, the bots and also the real people, we all decided at real time. So we're like, the OVO people lose me is Kendrick used bots. Sure, I'm sure the label uses some type of tactic, right? I think it's the same for most major artists when they release songs, right? But where y'all lose me is, well, the bots are why he won. And you can even say, yo, Drake has the better records in retrospect. All this stuff, if all this comes out, yo, Dave Freeze actually this, oh man, and the domestic, and yeah, all this stuff turns out true. You could even in retrospect, like we do Jay-Z and Nas, say, yo, Drake has the better records in retrospect. But at the end of the day, the battle was decided by the people. Kendrick won because a large reason was the pace. Drake created this pace in the battle. Not just Drake, like academics and like that whole side. They created a pace. Like, yo, 4 days and Kendrick can't respond. 4 days, 5 hours and 6 seconds and Kendrick can't respond. And they created that pace to where y'all gotta, like Drake and Kendrick, y'all gotta drop immediately because they counting down on you. Drake could not keep up that pace. That is like the largest reason why Drake lost. Drake drops the push-ups joint, the tailor-made. Kendrick takes some time. Then he drops the Euphoria. He drops the 616. I don't think Drake expected a back-to-back. Drake didn't even expect a response. The way he was talking on tailor-made, Drake didn't even expect a response, right? Or if it was going to be a response, it was going to be way later down the line. So we get Euphoria. Then we get 616. Now it's starting to look a little spooky. So Drake presses red button. I'm describing to y'all why Drake lost. Y'all could say Drake spat more facts. Y'all could say Drake had the better records. I'm telling you why he lost. And we all know this to be true because we were all there. So Kendrick drops the Euphoria 616. It's looking a little spooky. Kendrick done went back to back on you. Like, even me as a Kendrick supporter, I was not even expecting a response. I was kind of iffy. Like, does Kendrick Lamar even rap anymore? Like, I don't know. Drake presses his red button. Family matters. Kendrick goes back to back again. Like the pace was too much for Drake to keep up with. And then Not Like Us was a huge hit record. which Drake did not have a hit record in this battle. So that's why Drake lost. So I already know in retrospect, I think some of this stuff might come out to be true. Not like I could care less about, the personal stuff, but more so the bots and, things that UMG did. If it comes out to be true, sure, y'all can say Drake has the better records. He spoke more facts, but just remember why he lost the battle. You were there. Remember why he lost. Right. The Iceman joint. I hope it's a good album. Again, I don't want to hear just more BS rap. I'm not going against Drake just because he's Drake. I give most of his albums a chance. With the last solo album I heard by him was Dark Lane demo tapes. Because I was just like, yeah, I can't. This music is just never going to click for me, right? So I hope this Iceman album does click for me. I hope he does get his #1. I hope we don't have to wait. And on the Kendrick side, I hope we don't have to wait too long for the next Kendrick album. I think we might actually get a GNX Deluxe after he finishes his tour, and then who knows after that. So yeah, anyway, this Drake lawsuit is not going to change history, but I do think there's value in knowing certain things, because the lawsuit, a lot of it, or some of it at least, has to do with what Drake was mentioning in the records. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, is what Drake was talking about on the Fake Heart Part 6, how much of it was true? Because at the end of the record, Drake said, like, I'm spitting facts. Everything I said was facts. I don't know about you, but let's get to the facts. And he seemed pretty damn sure of it. So I do think there's value, but it just doesn't change history. No matter the amount of mental gymnastics you do, the outcome was the outcome. Maybe you can get around to. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all think this is fake? Y'all think this is fake? I don't know if it's fake. I'm not going to report on it like it's real. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.